Hello everyone. I hope this video finds you well. Even with everything that's going on, there's a lot that we can be doing within us to make it through, and not only make it through, but add value and abundance into our lives. Usually I write up a whole thing before I get on here and do a video, but today I'm just going to kind of wing it because there's a lot on my mind. I posted a collective energy reading kind of at the beginning of this whole COVID-19 thing. And I don't want to talk about that. That collective energy reading was basically just an overview of Saturn and Pluto conjunction in Capricorn and what's happening, bringing in Saturn in Aquarius. That's, these are big system structure breakdowns, collapses, tower moment into the sun, rebirth, that kind of thing. That devil energy was really apparent, showing us the old patterns and systems we're attached to, but not only that, a scarcity mentality. Okay? And my friend posted a video about post-capitalism, so I'm going to post another video that's more spiritual, and it involves some sound healing, because for this Aries new moon, I felt really called to do something physical to kind of move through that energy, because Aries likes action and is very initiative oriented. They like taking the initiative. So I'm going to upload that, and that's a little more spiritual and more about emotional processing, purging fear, grieving, that sort of thing, because that's definitely an energy that's going on right now, is individual past life trauma, grief, ancestral grief, that kind of thing. Also literal grief, because there are deaths happening. But what I want to talk about is another side of this energy. So what we have is Aries, Sun, Moon, Chiron conjunct. Okay, so we have this energy of bringing up identity. What is our collective identity? Because now Saturn's in Aquarius, so we're thinking about the collective. This Aries energy, conjunct with Chiron, asks us to look at the wounds we have in society and what is our collective identity trauma, okay? And this devil energy that came through for not only me, but a lot of empaths and channelers have been talking about this devil energy with the whole, everything that's going on right now. And I think a lot of it has to do, and this is inspired by my friend who posted a video about post-capitalism, is the scarcity mindset. So collectively, we're seeing the tower has fallen, and we can no longer operate under this scarcity mindset. Which, because people are so freaked out by the terms capitalism and communism, it's not even about that anymore. It's about seeing how we have been in a scarcity mindset. Capitalism has led us to this point where we can no longer operate under it because it comes from a scarcity mindset. So basically, it's like a pyramid scheme. It comes from a scarcity mindset, because if you only have a select few products, you can ramp up the price because the demand is going to be higher at certain times. So it's basically, capitalism works under the idea that there's not enough to go around, and that you have to be competitive and work really hard to be the one that achieves abundance. But that's no longer working. It hasn't worked, That's why we are where we are now, where, we're going to have to rent strike. We're going to have to stop paying our bills. We're going to have to stop paying our student debt because, number one, there's going to be no way to do that if we're all unemployed. And number two, it's just, where is the money going? Who's creating this money? Who's actually benefiting, right? These are the questions that are coming up. So instead of saying capitalism versus communism, I want to talk about scarcity versus abundance. Under a scarcity style economics, scarcity economics, I'm going to say, a few people are entitled and have like this kind of in-group circulation of funds where everyone else has to compete over the scraps. If we operate under an abundance economics mindset, There's enough to go around because the resources are there. I mean, we have plenty of food, plenty of resources, plenty of money. I mean, they gave 1.5 trillion to bail out Wall Street just for a little bit, and then they want to give them more money. But what about all these individual people that can't pay their bills, they can't pay their rent? They're being forced to stay in their homes, but they're also being forced to not work, and yet no one wants to freeze rent. I just saw some statistic that's like 8 out of 10 people you meet live paycheck to paycheck. And if you consider that, most people at this time will not be able to pay at least their rent. And, you know, people also have car payments. I was just on the phone for 3 hours trying to get through to my finance holder, my bank, for my car payment, and I got an extension for 3 months, which is a blessing, but that doesn't solve the problem here. Putting a hold on all these things will help, but we need to completely revamp and change the way we do things economically, socially, everything. And the astrological aspects right now are completely aligning to that and showing us that. So I wanted to pull a major arcana just to see what is going to help us. Om Namah Shivaya Ganesha Datura Woodbit Niyaro. Wow. A card already pulled out. I was going to do my whole prayer, and then it was just like, no, I know what it is. Yeah, death. We already had a tower moment. That's the virus. But we need a complete death of the system. And I don't mean rioting, destruction, because, and I was talking about this with another friend, that yes, destruction and creation is the same energy, and out of destruction comes creation, right? Like when plants die in your soil, if you're doing cover crops with farming, those plants that die, your cover crop dies and it nurtures the soil so that next year you can put down a crop that you want to grow, and it'll grow better because it has more nutrients in the soil from the plants that died the season prior. So we need a complete death of the system, but we're moving into this 5D space where we no longer need to destroy to create. We can use an alchemy of sorts to just change it. So, and I don't have all the answers here. I'm not an economist, but I just know that astrologically speaking, and from everything I'm hearing and from seeing and just channeling, like, we need and are going through an entire shift in our society and in our economics. Because when 99% of people are struggling, and yet there's an abundance of resources to go around, I mean, this whole thing is unnecessary. Right? Why do a very small group of people feel entitled to everything when there's literally enough to go around? I mean, there was another statistic my sister shared with me that was, you could live off of like 70,000 a year, like comfortably, and yet we have people who are billionaires. No one needs that much money. Why? Where does it go when they die? They don't take it with them. Is it just to keep it in the family? Just to like, keep their name around as some rich guy? They want to have that status, And that also is that devil Capricorn energy, right? The 10th house, status, all of that shit. We're done with that. It's not working. It's literally like, the message I've been getting is individualism is death, collectivism is evolution. Right? But this stuff, what I'm talking about, is a complete shift. Can I get a card, please, for what will help us? No, I'm hearing use the other deck. Okay. Can I get one card for what's going to help us make this shift? And what is going to be the outcome after 3 months? Okay, I'm hearing 3 months. After 3 months. That's interesting because that's my car payment extension. What's happening in 3 months to move us along here? What's happening in 3 months? Wow. 6 of Pentacles. 6 is a balancing number, and this card does call on kind of a scarcity mentality, like I'm saying. Like, I think it'll be really obvious come 3 months how much hoarding is going on, and there needs to be a balancing within the economic system, whether that's canceling all student debt. I mean, honestly, the people in power have the control to probably just like how do we how do we convince like the Federal Reserve to just cancel all debt and reboot the entire system, right? Like if this was like an RPG, like a simulation, like can we just like redo, like new game, this isn't working, we fucked up. So yeah, the 6 is a balancing. It's a 4. Sorry. I can't read Roman numerals sometimes, but yeah, 4 is still a balancing number, right? But it's on the way to a challenge. So 6 is the balancing after the challenge, and 4 is the balance that happens before the challenge. And I know that sounds weird, but what balances it out is this awareness of the scarcity mindset and the awareness that people are hoarding money and that, you know, everyone dies, everybody poops, right? So why is any one person or 1% of people in this country or world holding all of the wealth and resources, right? So, it doesn't matter the number. The message is having an awareness of the scarcity mindset will help us move along towards something, some sort of change. Yeah, as I was saying that, 8 of Wands flew out. So yeah, movement, 3 months. There's going to be a lot of new awareness because there's a lot of people that have been blind to this for so long. I mean, I feel like I've been screeching about this stuff since I was like 15 years old. Like, this is just the kind of person I am. Like, my North Node is in Aquarius. My Venus is in Aquarius. I have a very, and my Mars is in Sag, so I have a very expansive and also collectivist mindset. And I always just wondered why the system was the way it is. It never made sense to me, and I've always struggled with it. And I've always been angry about it. And I'm trying not to be angry anymore because I don't want to be held in that lower vibrational space. But also, it's the kind of thing where people like me need to be screeching about this, because a lot of people don't know. And that's why this 4 of Pentacles is coming up, because a lot of people aren't even aware that it's happening. And like, it's happening all around them, and they're just so caught up in the system, so caught up in money, money, money. Oh, where's the market at? Oh, the market's down, the market's down. It's like, who cares? I'm sorry to say it, but like, who cares what the market's at? Like, you're gonna die anyway. Everyone's gonna die someday. What matters is how we treat people and what we do on the earth now. You can't take it with you. I know it's a cheesy saying, but it's true. Like, we need to think about the future, right? I'm a millennial, and it's like, I'm reaching this age where I want to make some shit happen, but this economic system is so fucked, I can't even, like, see a future. And my whole generation, or not, I don't want to say the whole generation, but a lot of people in my generation are like that. We can't see a future. We struggle with vision because so much is holding us back within the system. We feel that way. We feel very bogged down by the system, especially with student loan debt. And so, it's people like me who are like, all right, well, Gen Z is pretty much in the same space, but what about after that? What about after that? We need to heal the earth, we need to heal our societal trauma, our collective trauma. And this Sun-Moon conjunct Chiron in Aries energy is revealing those wounds, that trauma. Like, oh my goodness, maybe, back in the day when a bunch of white men from Britain, they created our government and our system, maybe it wasn't the best system. Maybe we can move on from it. Maybe things change and there's better ways of doing things. And it's not about communism or capitalism. It's just about changing as the needs come up, Forget the words. It doesn't matter the words. It's, are you gonna position yourself with your neighbor or with money? If it came down to it, would you choose money over helping your neighbor? I don't know. I can't answer that for you. All right, can I have a card for something that's... What do I want to ask? There's so many thoughts in my head. I feel like I'm hearing the whole country just, like, aggravated, especially in Michigan. Like, we have a shelter in place in now, and, we don't have a rent freeze, so that's really on my mind. How can we as individuals help in this change and in growth and in our evolution as a collective? I like that. How can each of us contribute? Okay, I'm hearing a message without even having a card. What are your gifts? That's another Aries thing. What are your gifts? Your gifts will show you where you can contribute. Individual contentment. Yeah, what are your individual gifts that will allow you to contribute to the fulfillment of the collective? Okay? That's what you need to focus on, each of us. Maybe you like to help others, so you can join an organization and deliver food to people who need it. Elderly folks, you know, people with compromised immune systems. Any other words of wisdom for us at this time, please and thank you. Yeah, and like what my gifts are as an empath, I feel things and I talk about them. I'm a voice and I'm unashamed to speak my mind. And I feel like that's my place somewhat, but I'm still, you know, questioning what do I want to give. So use this new moon in Aries to use this as a reflection. Reflect on what you want to do moving forward, what gifts are so innate in you that maybe you don't see them clearly. King of Swords. Yeah. Intentional mental action is what I'm hearing. This is that Aquarius vibe. Intentional, moving intentionally mentally. So using this space we have now, I would say get creative with it. You know, do some journaling, some writing, something mental, something airy that allows you to see your independent place within the collective and how you shine and how you can contribute within that space. So that's all I wanted to say. I have, like I said, I'm going to post that other video with the sound healing meditation that I did on Instagram Live. If you're into this kind of thing and you like what I'm talking about, please do follow me on Instagram at The Light Siren. I post a lot about this stuff. I post a lot about just what I'm thinking. I post a lot of music, stuff about herbs. I did a whole post yesterday about this new moon energy with just a list of kind of like questions to ask yourself and how to get into this mental space of who am I within the collective and how do I want to intentionally move within the collective in order to benefit the collective. So stay tuned. I'm going to put up the April monthly reading soon, and I have so much more in store for you guys. All right. Peace and love.